Grace, and today I'm doing my December reading wrap-up. So I read 15 books this month, but only 2 of them were entirely physical reads. There were a couple that were like half physical, and then I switched to audio just because it was more convenient. So the first one I read was my reread of You. I will show pictures here of the things that I don't own physically. You was an audio reread in preparation for season 2 of the Netflix show. The first time I read it, I gave it 4 stars. This time it was more like a 4.5. It's just so good. It's so good. Like it's crazy, but it's so good. The next book I read was Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. It is the sequel to Skyward. This one I read half physical and then switched to audio. Not because I was having like a problem with the book, but because I had just late in November listened to the audiobook of Skyward, and the audiobooks are really, really good, and so I just really wanted to do the audio version. Plus I was very busy with my Christmas show going on in December, and so it was just more convenient. This one I gave 4 stars. I thought it was really good, and I'm looking forward to the next one because there was quite the cliffhanger. Next, I listened to The Wolf Wants In. Where are you going? The Wolf Wants Out. I listened to The Wolf Wants In because of a friend's recommendation, because I heard that it was creepy and really good. I gave it 1 star. I didn't care about it at all. I didn't care about it. So, whoops. Next, I did an audio reread of A Christmas Carol, which is one of my favorite classics. I love it so much. I gave it 4 stars. I partly read it because in my Christmas show, in the show, we were putting on A Christmas Carol, so it's like a story within a story kind of thing. And so I wanted to refamiliarize myself with it, and it was a bunch of fun. That story is just really good, and it was narrated by some famous actor or something. I can't remember who it was, but it was really, really good. Next, I read Winterwood. I have 2 copies, so I'll show off both of them. This one I gave 4 stars, and I'm so glad it lived up to my expectations because I really loved The Wicked Deep by the same author, and this one was so good. It was about witches and crazy stuff. I don't know how else to explain, but it was really good. I enjoyed it. Next, I listened to Let It Snow by these 3 authors because Netflix made a movie adaptation of it. The pugs keep jumping ship because they hear my brother outside my room because he's in the hallway. How dare he? So this was semi a reread. A long, long time ago, I read the first 2 stories and never got to the last one. What's up, Wendy? So this one I gave 2.5 stars. I mostly just read it because I wanted to watch the movie, and the movie wasn't amazing, but it was cute, I guess. Same with the book. I'm not crazy about it, but it was a nice Christmassy read. Next, I listened to Needful Things by Stephen King. This one started out interesting, but it just went on and on and on. It was so long, and by the end of it, I was like, yeah, this is 1 star. So I didn't care about it. It was definitely not my favorite Stephen King novel so far. It was not for me. Next, I did an audio reread of The Tale of Emily Windsnap. This was one of my favorite series when I was little. I mean, for obvious reasons. It's about mermaids. So I did an audio reread, not expecting it to be great because it's, you know, I liked it in like middle school. It's got like the big font and a cute, like it's a middle grade, and I don't really read middle grade, but it was so good. I gave it 4 stars. I would highly recommend it to anybody of any age. And this month in January, I'm hoping to read more of the series because when I read them, there were only 3 of them out, and now there's like 8 or something. And so I'm going to try to listen to like all of them. So good. I had good taste as a child. Next, I did an audio reread of The Afterlife of Holly Chase. I read this last December and really enjoyed it, and I read it again and really enjoyed it again. So last time this was like a 3.7 or 3.8, and this time it was closer to a 4.5. This is just such a good book. I recommended it in my Christmas book recommendation video. I don't even remember what videos I posted at this point, but it's really good. Definitely recommend it. It's like a Christmas Carol retelling, but like it's got different like kinds of twists, and it's really good, and it's very meaningful. Next, I did an audio reread of What Light. I did a lot of audio rereads this month. This one, so I know I'm weird, but the first time I read this, I gave this 2 stars. So why was I rereading it? I don't know, just to give it a chance. And again, I gave it 2 stars, but that's fine. Like 2 stars isn't the worst. Like if you are confused about my rating system, I have a video on my rating system that might help, because I know it's a little strange, because I can give 1 star to something and not hate it. Like with Needful Things, I don't hate Needful Things, I just didn't care about it at all. This is 2 stars because I'm like, it's okay. Those are my thoughts on it. Then I did an audio reread of Hidden Bodies, which is the second book to You. I did this in preparation for season 2 of You on Netflix. The second book is not quite as good as the first, but I still gave it 4 stars. The day the second season of You came out, me and my sister watched the entire season, because there's no other way to do it, guys. I'm obsessed with that show. It is phenomenal. Very different from the books, but at least as good. It's so good. I love the psychology of it. Penn Badgley is phenomenal. The Joe in the TV series is a lot different than Joe in the book, but I think that is a good thing, because Joe in the book is way more calculating and cold, and we humanize him a little bit in the series, but not in a bad way, I don't think. It's just to show that it can be anyone. It's not to be like, oh, look at this cuddly psychopath. That's not what it is. It's just, all right, I'm ranting. This has nothing to do with books anymore. Let's get back to books. Next, I did a reread of My New Crush Gave to Me. This was the only other book that I read fully, physically. Again, I read this last year and really enjoyed it. I read it like on Christmas and gave it 5 stars, and once again, it was 5 stars. It's a super cute contemporary, and I just super enjoy it and feel like I'll have to reread it every Christmas. Then I listened to an audiobook called Love Does. This was a recommendation from a friend. I don't know what I expected, but this was phenomenal. I gave it 5 stars. The most important thing about like Christianity, or even just life in general, is that love is an action. You can't love somebody and not show it through your actions. Like, your actions reveal the truth. And so this whole audiobook was about how love does. Love doesn't just feel, it does, it acts. And so it's Christian based, very inspirational, it was phenomenal. I gave it 5 stars. It was my favorite read of the month. And I would highly recommend it. It was so good. Next, I read Scythe. I started out reading physically, and about halfway, a third of the way through, started listening to the audiobook instead, because I didn't love this. I gave it 1.5 stars. I didn't hate it, I just didn't care for it. It gave me like adult vibes, like it didn't feel like a young adult novel, and reminded me kind of like of Nevernight. Like, the story is not similar, but it just gave me those vibes, and I had the same feelings about Nevernight. So this one was 1.5 stars. But I'm continuing the series on audio. I'm currently on the 3rd book, and so that'll be in my January wrap-up. And I'm definitely enjoying the sequels more, but they're still not going to be higher than like 2 stars. But that's fine. And the final book I read was an audio read of Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. So she's a pretty famous author, and I heard that this was really good for like creative people. There were some parts of it I liked and some parts of it I didn't. I think I gave it like 2 stars. But like some parts were really good, and other parts were like... She talked about, like, story ideas basically being living things, and when they come to you, if you don't act on them, they will literally go away and go to somebody else. And it just, there were some things that were too weird for me that I'm like, no, that's not a thing. But other times it was nice, so that's all I have to say about that. So it was a fairly okay month for me. I didn't get as much reading done. I mean, 15 books is a great amount, but I didn't read enough physically just because I was so busy. So part of my goals for 2020 is to read more physically, because I just like ran out of time, and like whenever I had time I would do something else with my time. I don't know, puzzles, movies. I've gotten addicted to puzzles lately. So let me know down below how many books you read in December, and or what your favorite book was that you read. My next video is my 2019 wrap up, so that will just wrap up the entire year, so stay tuned for that. See you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching.